Telecameras 3 and 4 working. Activate radio contact with the outside.
Love, wisdom, abundant life. Live a life filled with meaning, purpose, and a sense of accomplishment.
Can you hear me?
Welcome to the Teachings of Enoch. I'm your host, James Allen. Listen every week at this time on KKVV AM 1060 Las Vegas. You can listen online at kkvv.com, on your smartphone using the TuneIn radio app, or listen anytime at teachingsofenoch.com. You can contact me by sending a text message to 702-483-7769. That's 702-483-7769. Or online at teachingsofenoch.com. Let's get started with today's message. Moods are strange things, aren't they? One day, you feel like you're on top of the world. And the next day, you feel like the whole world is crumbling all around you and that nothing is ever going to work out. Or sometimes, for whatever reason, we just don't feel right. We don't feel happy. Most of the time, our circumstances haven't changed, but our moods and outlook have changed. Changes in the weather can affect our moods and outlook. The medical community tells us that something called seasonal affective disorder, a type of mild depression, occurs when winter rolls around and affects people on and off until spring arrives. It can sap your energy and cause you to lose any motivation. Whatever the cause, one thing is certain: your and my moods will change. It's a part of nature. It's a part of being human. The book of the Preacher tells us, the sun also rises, and the sun goes down, and hastens to the place where it arose. The wind goes towards the south, and turns around to the north. The wind whirls about continually and comes again on its circuit. All the rivers run into the sea, yet the sea is not full. To the place from which the rivers come, there they return again. I remember the first time I read this verse. I was about 17, and it was an early spring morning. There was a river within walking distance of my home, and I was sitting under some cottonwood trees, listening to the roar of water, reading this passage. As the sun rose over the mountains, this passage just seemed to come alive within my spirit. Nature continues its course and doesn't stop. Nature works in a continuous cycle. A wise person recognizes that moods and emotions are temporary and will change. The key for you and I is to realize that many times our circumstances will not necessarily change, but our attitudes and our moods will. The wise person learns to master these changes, recognize the changes, and not let them control us. Yes, we laugh, we cry, but you and I learn that our mission and calling haven't changed, whether we're up or down, whether we laugh or cry. And we realize that you and I are not the only ones that are affected by emotions. Everyone is affected and reacts in different ways. I have a mobile DJ business and have been the DJ and MC at hundreds of wedding receptions, trade shows, conventions. I've noticed then when I'm arranging the event with the organizer, there's a lot of excitement, anticipation. When the day the event comes along, there's usually a different mood. It's more stressful and more tense. What changed? Why is the organizer now grouchy? Well, the first few times I thought, well, yeah, this is just really an unpleasant person. Then I began to look at things from their perspective. A long flight, maybe to get into town, checking into a hotel room, getting to the venue on time, not to mention any personality or personal issues and stress from family members. So I smile. I make them feel as comfortable as possible and do the task that I was hired for. Usually after the event is underway, people relax. Learn to master your moods and emotions. They are temporary and will change. Stick to your goals and press on. There was a psychology professor who was giving a lecture. Referring to manic depression, she asked, "How would you diagnose a patient who is screaming at the top of their lungs one minute and then sits in a chair crying uncontrollably the next?" Someone shouted out, "He's probably a Dallas Cowboys fan." The Apostle Peter wrote to the early followers of Christ, "So I beg you not to surrender to those desires that fight against you. And later he writes, God cares for you, so turn all your worries over to him. In your family and in the workplace, your mood affects others. If you wake up in a foul mood and take it out on those you live and interact with, guess what? It will affect the mood of other people. Sometimes when I call associates or business clients, the person on the other end of the phone is in no mood to talk with me and might even hang up on me. I used to take this very personal and get easily discouraged. But over the years, I've learned that they really aren't taking their anger out on me personally. As a matter of fact, I've even gotten business from people who were initially rude and mean-spirited. Moods, emotions, like I mentioned, they affect us all. Like one author writes, no longer will I judge a man on one meeting. No longer will I fail to call again tomorrow on he who meets me with hatred today. This day he will not buy gold chariots for even a penny, yet tomorrow he would exchange his home for a tree. If you and I are in a bad mood and we take it out on other people, which may happen from time to time, take the time to apologize. It takes a person of character to say, look, I'm sorry for the blow-up. A few years ago, I had a friend of mine who referred a lot of business to me. One of the businesses he referred to me was a large agribusiness in the South. One day, out of the blue, the president of this agribusiness called and angrily told me that he wanted to cancel all his business with me effective immediately. I was very puzzled. I could tell he was in no mood to debate the issue, so I followed his wishes. After a few days, I called him to let him know that the accounts were canceled and that if he ever needed my services again, feel free to call. During the conversation, I asked, what made him cancel our business relationship? He began to explain that he was furious with my business friend and no longer wanted to do business with him because of some technical issue that had come up. As we talked, I realized that he thought that my business was part of my friend's business. After discovering this, I convinced him that I was merely his friend and really had nothing to do with my friend's business. Well, the president of that company apologized and told me that he was so angry and disappointed that he just wanted to get back at my friend. And you know what? I got his business back. Moods, emotions, master them, understand they affect us all. It's a mystery of nature. When Christ was on this earth, he had a specific mission and purpose. He was fully human. He had emotions just like you and I. There were no doubt times that he felt tired, grouchy, even depressed at those who just couldn't get his message. Did he give up? Did he toss his hands up in despair? No. He pressed on. He knew that his mission and purpose in life were too important to be derailed by emotions. A number of years ago, Rex Hersey, a professor at the University of Pennsylvania, conducted a study of the human emotional cycle. His study took place over a period of 23 years and included over 1,000 people from Europe and the United States. Professor Hersey concluded that the emotional cycle of people has an average time of 5 weeks. This is the time it takes for the average person to move from one period of up to a period of down and then back up again. His research shows that emotional highs are characterized by a sense of physical well-being, making pleasant plans for the future. A down cycle is characterized by a sense of lethargy, a reluctance to get anything done. Now, your emotional cycle may be a little longer or shorter, and it's helpful for you to keep a record of your ups and downs for about 6 weeks so you can get an idea of your emotional cycle. After a while, you'll notice a pattern. You'll start to predict when your future mood swings can happen. When you're up or down, you'll have the knowledge that this season will pass.
Shall not be moved. I 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 shall not be moved. Shall not be moved. I shall
Here's some of the things I do that are helpful when I experience mood swings. Get plenty of rest. It sounds simple, but one of the things that make myself and probably you most irritable is the lack of sleep. After creating the universe and everything in it, God rested on the seventh day. It's a perfect model for us. Lack of sleep and rest can not only cause us to be irritable and contribute to mood swings, but can also lead to severe health problems. Doctors tell us that we need about 7 to 8 hours of sleep each night. Let's listen to them. Get plenty of rest. Take time to exercise. I find that walking and hiking help clear my mind. Maybe for you, it's running, golf, a bike ride, or whatever. Whatever it is, being active brings so many health benefits. It gets our blood flowing. It can help change our whole outlook on life. Doctors tell us that when we are physically active and exercise, our body produces a chemical called beta-endorphin, which is a hormone that helps people handle stress. It's how God made us. And let's eat healthy. Yes, this sounds trite, but listen. Not too long ago, I was in a hurry. I rushed out the door without eating any breakfast. I don't know about you, but for me, breakfast, I have to have breakfast to make it through the day. So I thought I'd stop by a fast food place and get a bite to eat. Well, I was very discouraged when I looked at the menu. They had imitation eggs, sausage with some other meat byproducts used as filler. About the only thing they offered on that menu that was real food was water. Well, I guess it's called junk food for a reason. Unhealthy foods can really cause severe health problems and affect our moods. At one time I was hiking with my brother, and after several miles we took a rest. I had brought some fruit snacks along and gave my brother an apple. Within a few minutes after eating the apple, he said he could feel the difference physically and emotionally. He said it was as if his body needed the chemicals in that fruit. Natural foods contain the substances we need and our body craves. Also, it's important to communicate with a friend or a counselor. So often, we keep things all bottled up inside, especially us men. Talking can help us verbalize our moods, and other people can share some of the things they do to cope with changing moods. Pray, reflect each day. Spend some time each day prayerfully reflecting on your life and God's grace. Realizing that God loves you and I more than we can ever imagine can bring us so much joy and comfort that can get us through the most difficult moods and the most difficult times.
What's going on? What are they stopping for?
Love, wisdom, abundant life. That's my hope for you. You've been listening to the Teachings of Enoch. I'm James Allen, your host. You can contact me by sending a text message to 702-483-7769. That's 702-483-7769. Or online at teachingsofenoch.com. You can listen to this program every week at the same time on KKVV AM 1060 Las Vegas. You can listen online at kkvv.com on your smartphone using the TuneIn Radio app, or listen anytime at teachingsofenoch.com.